Welcome to another episode of One of Us Knows What They're Talking About, and the other one is you. I'm Lori Burch, your host. Join us as we discuss and unpack wills, trusts, estate planning, and probate law in a way that's actually informative, interesting, and, well, hopefully entertaining. Because if you don't have a will, the state of Texas has one for you. Let's dive in. Yes, so really excited to have my new friend, and now Sarah, Sam, and Cynthia's new friend, Byron Walker, to meet with us. And so, just as a refresher, because I don't know if Cynthia and Sarah remember this, and Sam, this will mean less to you because you haven't interacted as much with Happy Box as we have, which, by the way, we need to have them as guests. But anyway, that's how I got introduced to Byron. And of course, they know how much us, our firm, that's how Sarah said it. We had this whole incident yesterday where do I call it my firm? Do I call it our firm? And they said the firm. And I'm like, I don't want to be the firm. Like if you read John Grisham. And so then Sarah said it in the most Burch Law way possible. She said, our firm? She said it as a question mark. And I think that's probably pretty accurate. Because our mantra around Burch Law is when in doubt, doubt. I mean, it's not mine. My mantra is the exact opposite of that. When in doubt, steamroll. When in doubt, do it anyway. But everybody else, we have very cautious, anxious, insecure. You can probably find any of those check marks there. But anyway, that's how we got introduced, some of our favorite people. And so they've known that I, whomever, our firm, has wanted to do more in the realm of helping people have a lasting legacy. Or Sam, what do we call it? Come on.
God, it's been so long. The long-lasting, fantastic,
lasting.
And then there's a
fantastic legacy lasting.
Yeah, estate plan. Right?
Yeah, this is a ridiculous thing.
You guys say it more than I do at this point.
The long-lasting, fantastic, legacy-lasting gift of estate planning.
There we go. See?
That's amazing.
Yeah. You do it more than I do.
It is amazing. Sure it is. Afterwards, I'll have to email you a video that we made of this statement that Sam inadvertently said. And it's nightmare producing what we did.
It is.
I had a vision and Sarah executed it to perfection, is what I like to say.
Yeah. Anyway, that's and you would think that would teach Sam to double check the things that she's going to say before she posts it for the rest of us to say.
Not.
And yet it is not. It's not.
No.
The long-lasting, fantastic, legacy-lasting.
Yes.
Estate planning.
But anyway, so Byron, if you would introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your background, and really what brought us together is this app that you are developing. And I'm kind of surprised because apparently Sam and Sarah have put together some thoughtful and relevant questions to ask, and I don't know what's happened to them.
Character growth.
I didn't read
I
them.
appreciate it.
Yeah, growth. That's what it is. Wait, Sam,
I feel
what do you
like
got?
you might have misread them.
Yeah, listen, I'm just going to let Lori believe what she wants to believe, and then when we get there, I will apologize, Byron, on their behalf.
Thoughtful is a stretch.
I'm so sorry.
Let me be careful. Like, this is way more work in research than you've ever done before.
Yeah, they were there for a minute in Sarah's office.
That's how low the bar is that this is thoughtful and relevant. But anyway, Byron, let's talk about you. Tell us about you.
Yeah, sure thing. I'm Byron. I was born and raised here in Dallas, Texas. I'm, a father of two wonderful daughters and an amazing wife. And I've always had a passion for technology in general, even since I was as far back as I can remember, maybe like 6 or 7. So technology has always been my deal. I went to school for computer science and have since worked, I think, something like 17 years in the industry at this point. And so yeah, that's a little bit about me. I like to nerd out a bit, have fun. I'm into a lot of different things, music, and into development, like I mentioned. And I'm a retired power lifter. I just kind of dabble in a lot of different things. So,
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. And for my weight class, I competed in a drug tested international powerlifting championship and placed 4th for my weight division across the world.
Nice.
Wow.
I know I don't look it though. You see these arms, like I like to catch everyone by surprise.
There might be a little bit to unpack there, but that's super cool. Like that's something very interesting and outside the box. I don't think any of us have anything like. Well, actually, Cynthia has lived like 100 lives. She might be a vampire because every now, like some random shit like of expertise that she has comes out of her mouth. Like if you want to know
Because I read.
I would call them pens, but she calls them writing implements. And if you think that you can't have an hour-long conversation about a pen, you are wrong, sir.
Come at me.
Yes.
Amazing. I can't wait to hear more.
She also baton twirling.
Did boxing for a bit. I feel like that's not one I mention very often.
Yeah. And Sam is from New Zealand, so that's what she's got.
Yeah, that's really it.
That's what she's got going on.
Yeah.
She bikes. She did a marathon. Was it technically a marathon?
No, she did a bike cycling thing.
It's like 80 miles, right?
Just for
She's
funsies.
downplaying it.
Like in a row?
I would hope so.
Yeah. Wasn't it also raining, I think? Like it was, she was having a time.
Ooh.
That's right.
The imagery that I'm having right now.
Great. All right. So you are developing an app or have developed it called
Kinnectd.
I want to say it my way.
Yeah.
Kinnectd.
Yes.
But it's your app, so you can say it the way you want to say it. But I'm going to have to say Kinnectd. Anyway, tell us about this.
Yeah. So this is an app that I decided to venture into creating. Really, the concept of the app came from a lot of feedback from friends and family. We are all, or most of us are all users of tools like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, things of this nature. And as myself and my friends have all grown older and wiser, I've, them more so than me. I've been learning a lot about, safety concerns that folks have around the data and information that they put out there. So that's one of the pillars of Kinnectd is around privacy. But the second piece is around legacy. So we have tools that exist today, such as Ancestry.com or even things like 23andMe, right? Where you can kind of sort of piece together some of your ancestral data. And this is all great if you're just wanting to look back, but no one's really created a way for going forward. And so that's what Kinnectd does, is it creates a way in which you can connect with both the past and the future by leaving behind pieces for your future descendants to discover.
Yeah. So there's so much there to look at. You showed me a little bit, took me for a little spin, as it were. But tell me what's this one thing that you call it, a quest? Is that?
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
quest.
So a
Yes.
quest. Yes.
This is so cool. I love this. Cynthia, you'll like this in your 100 years of living.
Thank you.
All right. So the core idea behind a quest, right, is it's just as it sounds, like there is a quest for someone. But this quest is coming from an ancestor of yours. So each of your ancestors can define something that they really feel strongly that their descendants should do or experience. Just as an example, right? Let's say that I go to Tokyo, Japan today and I fall in love. It's an amazing experience. The food, the culture, the scenery, just everything. And I just feel so strongly that my kids should come visit Tokyo, Japan one day when they're older. I can define this as a quest. And only my descendants can see these quests, right? So it's not, my cousins won't see it, my aunts and uncles, whoever else, friends, they won't see it, right? Only my descendants. So that would be like my children, my grandchildren, and so on. They would see like, hey, my father, my grandfather really felt strongly that I should go try to have the similar experience that he had in Japan. And so, yeah, they can opt in to decide that that's something that they want to do. And a part of the feature that we're trying to bake into that is really capturing the experience, right? So while you're there presently in Tokyo, you could take pictures or like check into particular locations, and all of that would be bundled into the quest so that when your child does go, they could try to go to some of the same places and have that thought of, wow, my father was standing right here. I'm going to recreate this picture that they took, right? So I think that'll really help a lot with connecting in the future and connect.
I think that's so neat.
Yeah, that's cool.
Cynthia, what quest would you send somebody on?
Food related. It would be like a good either hole in the wall crawl or like a good pub crawl, something like that.
Yeah.
Whenever before I moved, I had a roommate, and every Friday we would do shady taco places. So every Friday we would find a different shady taco place, and it was some of the best food, but it was just like real shady. And we had a lot of fun. Like that's something that I feel like everyone should do. Like pick a type of food and then just look up for like shady places and go there to eat.
Now that's a quest. Sam, what would you do? What quest would you send people on?
I really like on road trips going to like the big bowl of yarn or the random like really big chair, like really dumb things like that. So I think that would be it, to like on a road trip and go to like those.
There's some place, I can't remember the state now. It's probably the South, maybe the Midwest. It's definitely one of those, called Hello, It's Jell-O. And I think they have like 400 different kinds of Jell-O there. Something like that.
That's cool.
I don't know if Hello, It's Jell-O is still around. That could
I'm
be
trying to imagine 400 different flavors of Jell-O.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it was 40. I don't know. Don't hold me to it. I mean, anything's possible, I suppose. Sarah, what kind of quest do you have?
I think I would do like national parks or something like that. Just, like do a lot of like sightseeing in the main, attractions at the parks. I think that'd be cool.
Byron, so I, part of, and we'll get there in just a second, of where I really can see something that I wanted to do for our clients is we talk a lot about legacy, like estate planning, probate, wills, trusts, all that's called legacy planning. And I mean, I get it, but at the same time, I think it's one of those things that gets used so much that people don't think about the real meaning to that. And so one of these days I was looking up the definition of legacy, and the first one was, what you would leave behind, money, assets, inheritance. But then the second one is the long lasting effect of someone's life or impact of someone's life. And for me, as kind of doomy and gloomy as planning your will and estate can feel, as I've gotten older but never wiser, my view of this practice and this kind of planning has changed. I used to just really completely lean into it being depressing but necessary, like buying insurance or getting a colonoscopy, right? So I've leaned into that. But in the last couple of years, as I've got kids now and I think about things and I've developed this amazing team, I've started thinking about, well, I'm not going to say it's fun, but the idea that you're doing something and putting things together so that your family and loved ones, what they experience when you're gone, because it's going to happen. Is it going to be a mess? Is it going to be a lot of courts and hoops and that to jump through? Or are you going to be setting something up so they have the ability to really celebrate you, to honor you, to get to know you, or learn things? I think I told you one of the things I had to learn at my grandmother's funeral was that she was the first woman to take wood shop at UCLA in the 1930s.
That's
To
amazing.
me, that's so cool. And that blood is running through my veins. Like that's part of, what I've got in me and what my girls have in them. And to me, that's what it's all about. And so the idea of this quest thing. So for people who know my story, I started my practice in the wake of losing my stepdad, who was very, very close to me, very dear to me. And it wasn't the reason I chose this type of practice, but it did put an interesting spin or thought as I encountered people going through things or contemplating things that my family was really experiencing. And so one of the things for him is that both my parents wanted to be cremated and have their ashes scattered on the island of Kauai. We spent a lot of time growing up going to Hawaii, all the different islands, but they really fell in love with Kauai. And they never imagined it would be happening so soon to one of them, but we did. He was cremated, and then there were 6 of us because blended family, all of that, total Brady Bunch style. We went to Kauai, spread the ashes, did all of that. And we've just had a family love of Hawaii. And a few years ago, I was able to take my wife and kids to Maui because we were able to get, and that actually my sister was married. We were able to go there. And then we actually spent Thanksgiving a couple years there. And then the Maui fires, Lahaina, which is just devastating. And so it just hasn't been a place where we've gone back to. So this year I was able to exchange some points out to go to Kauai. And so I'm getting to share with them this island that is just so special and so spiritual. And so this has got to be a quest, right? Like I was looking at, because I haven't been there in probably 10 years or so. So I was looking at places. Some things are, Puka Dog's still open, but, Kalapaki Beach Hut has closed. And, I'm looking up all of this stuff and kind of reliving some of the experiences that I had with them and that were important to them. So this is like one of those quests, right?
Definitely. This is
So I need to make sure I've got the app. This is July that we're going, that I've got the
Yes.
app and that I'm like documenting this stuff, because one of the things I really love about the app that you said, and that's why I feel like I really want to get people on it, is it's so much easier to document and share things in real time rather than, and oh gosh, I think I can make an analogy that it's so much easier to get your estate planning done when you're younger and not on the, when death is not at your doorstep.
Not at real time.
Right, in real time. Because having to go back and reflect on things, it's harder. And what I really don't want people to do with this part of the app or just concept in general is to just wait until, well, I'll get to that and share those stories.
Mm-hmm.
Like the more you're sharing those things now, the more you're creating this really ongoing legacy of who you were.
Right. And that's what it's about, right? Is, as we in the present day try to look back discover our ancestors, right? Like whether that was your grandmother or something to that effect. The goal is to try to find out, who was this person, right? Like, I am a descendant of them. Who were they, and what sort of things do I get from them, right? Like we mentioned the woodworking class, like, oh yeah, I feel that, I see that in myself, I see it in my children, that like we have this sort of ambition. And so I think people really want to feel that connection and want to have that understanding of where they come from. And my hope is that this app will help them be able to accomplish that.
Right. And so part of what the big part that I've wanted to do is to create sort of these, it can be written, but I think video journals are cooler concept, but whatever somebody wants to do, and they can come up with their own like life lessons or, biographical things they want to share. But some people need the prompts, right? Or maybe they need, like I could ask my kids, hey, what something you'd want to know? Well, what was your favorite class you took in school? Because that would not be something I would think of sharing on my own, but that could be something that they ask. So how can that be part of the app, where there's either something where whether it's pre-created, like here's a question, record yourself answering that question, or if you just have your own message, like the biggest lesson I learned in life, or if I wanted the top 10 things I want my kids to know about me, or life lessons, like that sort of thing. Like, how can that, because that's what I've been talking to Happy Box about. And that's where they were like, when they were talking to you, they're like, oh, you two got me.
Yeah, and that's exactly the kind of thing that we want to bake into the app, right? So we've discussed a lot about Quest, but another feature in this application is called Stories. And Stories is where you have that space to sort of talk about, here's what has happened in my life. And the hope is to move that more towards real time, rather than, like you mentioned before, going all the way back, trying to remember. I can barely remember what I did yesterday or the day before. So if you give me a book like 30 years from now, ask me what was I doing, I'm going to be like, I think maybe I was doing this. I have no idea. So yeah, the goal is to try to capture more of that stuff real time, and we will have those prompts that that can offer you assistance. But we also want to give people the creative freedom to say, like, this is what I want to talk about. This is what I want to make sure that my descendants hear from me.
Now, can you do something where it's like Duolingo, which all of us, by the way, engage in, where this owl is going to stalk you until you do your lesson?
Oh my gosh.
What kind of notification system can you set up on this, where it's like, this is you can set your own goals and stuff, but we all know these apps where you can put in notifications, but I don't think anybody hunts you down like the Duolingo owl does. And it's such emotional manipulation to their messages.
Yeah,
it's brilliant. I love it. I'm here for it.
Another thing with Duolingo, I have all my notifications turned on. It's the fact that I have the widget like on my home screen. So when I open it, I see the red, or at night, it's like time's almost up, or just the whole, I don't know if, Lori, if you were doing it whenever it would do like the series of paintings. So it did like the Scream. It did like a couple of others.
No. You used to screenshot them daily. And
I used to screenshot them daily when they were wild.
It also has like a live widget like on your notification screen when you like turn on your phone and don't unlock it, with a countdown. If you haven't done that.
And then you connect with other friends, and then you can nudge them, right? And so then it's not only the owl that's shaming you, but it's your friends. And just the sheer guilt that you feel with it's totally cool to blow off our friend streak. No big deal, especially if it's Lily. I mean, she's so vicious. But anyway, we don't have to get into Duolingo characters, but that might be a good episode. So we'll put a pin in that, right, Sarah? She got animated for a second. So what kind of notifications are built into the app?
Yeah, so right now we only have discussed the idea of something called snapshots, which is still a name that is in the works right now. We don't know if that's where we're going to land at exactly. But what Snapshots does is it's a more frequent check-in with what are you doing in your life right now. I know that sounds super stalkerish, right?
No, I like it.
Right? But it's more of a prompt that's like, hey, you expressed interest in reading. What books are you reading right now? Do you like that book, or is it, pretty bad? What movies or TV shows? What sort of activities are you traveling? What are you doing? So we're trying to really get a sense of who you are. And what's going to be cool about Snapshots is that they're going to feed into something which is going to be known as your timeline, right? So we can see the evolution of you over time, right? So when you had this app, let's say we had it, right? And you were in middle school, it asked you, hey, what songs are you listening to right now? It's probably a lot of like Backstreet Boys and Sync or something like that, right? And then, you fast forward to today and it's a whole different genre.
Are you referring to me or the rest of them? Because if you think middle school was Backstreet Boys and NSYNC for me, I love you.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't think that was even for Sam and Sarah, was it?
I was Jonas Brothers all the way, man.
Where do we sign up? Do you need
Yes.
Anyway, not to derail you, but yes, proceed.
No, yeah. So that's the concept there, right? Is eventually we want to create this timeline of who you are, right? So we can see how you've evolved over time and really get a true sense of what you were about, right? And I think that you as the individual that is viewing your timeline is going to find that valuable, but I also believe that your descendants will find that valuable, right? As you look back and say like, okay, yeah, grandpa didn't really have it all together until he was 40, right? And so I feel a little bit better and I feel like I can blame him for this, right? So yeah, that's the goal there is to have those snapshots, but we haven't fully tuned in, how much is too much, right? Like Duolingo, they're amazing. I don't know how they pull it off. They're amazing.
It's the guilt.
Yeah, it's the guilt. Yeah, for sure. I'm going to sidetrack for a second. So Duolingo is the first app that I've ever seen where the app icon can change dynamically, right?
That's what gets me. It's not the notifications. All that's off.
Yeah. I get the widget, right? Like the widget is kind of live and updating. The app icon in itself changing is like an amazing feat. So, but yeah, I went a couple of days without doing it, and I noticed it's like the eyes look kind of weird on this thing. Like did they mess up? I thought like they messed up, and I think he was like getting sadder and sadder or something progressively. And then he got angry, and I was like, now I feel like I need to log in.
It's a very emotionally abusive relationship. I just need them to know, and they know it. Duolingo.
Oh yeah, that's their whole social media is that they just capitalize on that.
We'll take some family passes if you're offering them Duolingo.
Well,
no,
and then he died, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
He died for a bit.
Yeah. And then he's back. Yeah.
He died?
Yeah, they killed him a little bit ago.
Oh my
God. No, it was like a whole social media campaign that they did.
He was hit by a cyber truck.
Oh my gosh. And it caught on fire.
And then like the World Health Organization was tweeting about it. Dua Lipa was tweeting about like it was a whole thing. Everybody was getting in on it. Like, oh no, Duo.
How has this owl gotten this sort of notoriety?
Hold on. Do you not know about TikTok, the latest collab that Duo did with Scrub Daddy?
I haven't
there was a video that they did, and there's like Duo for some reason gives birth to a bunch of little dual-shaped scrub daddies. It was disturbing, and I had to show Sarah.
It was disturbing.
Yeah, I had to share that with somebody, and Sarah was the only one in the room.
All right, so Byron,
back on track.
I am married. I have 4 daughters that range from age 20. Well, they don't range this. They are this 20, 14, 6, and 2. How would I use this app? Maybe not how it's currently, but like, what's the vision of how like I would use this?
Yeah, so I think in the way that most people hope to use Facebook today, right? Like a lot of people that I've spoken with
To
have
get in
said,
arguments with strangers and to
no,
post cat
no,
videos.
no, right? Exactly the opposite of that, right? So a lot of people say, well,
Numbers.
I
This is
only
going to
stay
get in
on.
Strangers.
arguments with your family.
Right, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, keep it in the family, right? No, just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. Um, so yeah, a lot of people that I speak with today, they say, well, I primarily stay active on Facebook because I want to check in on how my family's doing and I want to share about what my family's doing. So a lot of people I feel are more drawn towards being collaborative and sharing stuff about what's happening in their family. But then you also have the public there, you have your friends there, you have the random people that you met one time at a party 10 years ago that somehow you ended up Facebook friends with, right?
I'm that
So
person for a lot of
yeah.
people.
Like, how did you get here? Right? Yeah, like, oh, remember you added me at that party.
Well, so Lori has to delete people to be able to add anybody new.
The cap is 5,000, and I don't want to like change it to like a public figure page or anything like that. And so if I meet someone like, oh, let me friend you on Facebook, I'm like, oh, let me go through my list and find somebody to remove as a friend and make some space.
Someone's not making the cut.
Yeah. Well, then, there's people who've passed away that I feel also, and they don't do the thing on Facebook where you can do like the legacy account or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels really bad to unfriend a person who's passed, but at the same time, like, I got to make space somewhere. Where's that? Yeah. I got to stay under the cap.
They're not posting anything new.
So would it be something then, if we're using that as kind of our model of the concept, would it be something that my kids would also have their own accounts and we're all just like exchanging that information?
That's the hope, right? So right now we're thinking through things related to safety and privacy, right? And
yeah,
we're trying to find that perfect line of what is the minimum age that we should allow someone to create their own account. So that the concept that we have right now is maybe 13 to 16, somewhere in there. You can have your own independent account. But prior to that, we're exploring some ways of, Lori, like maybe you could create an account that is the decision maker for your 2-year-old's account, right? And so that way they're not missing out on being tagged in photos and things of that nature, because that's an important part of things captured about them. So let's say that, your 20-year-old takes a picture of them and wants to tag them in it. And then that way, when they turn, 16, they're like, oh, wow, I have this picture of me from when I was 2 that I never would have come across. And so we want to create a way in which you can transition that account and say, like, this is a parent controlled account, and now this person's of age, they're going to set up their own credentials and take over the account going forward.
Yeah, no, I think that's cool. Right now, so the 6-year-old has an iPad, and then of course everybody else has a phone, and so we actually have a text chat, and it's called Herd of Turtles. And I'm only going to share this with you because it does have to do with legacy. Because when we would get in the car ready to leave when I was younger, this is my father. It's not my stepfather that I was talking about earlier, but my father. He'd always say, and we're off like a herd of turtles. And so I've got all my kids saying that when we get in the car, and I'll say, and we're off. And all of them say, like a herd of turtles. So the 20-year-old, and she probably set this up 3 or 4 years ago, titled it Herd of Turtles. Not for some reason, the 3 of you will know why, but the picture she created is a turtle, but with Taylor Swift's head. Anyway, and now Poppy, the almost 3-year-old, is going to get her very first iPad this week sometime, so she can be added to this. But what I'm thinking is, unless you're Cynthia or Kimberly, like that text thread is going to go away. Like people are going to delete it. It's just not going to be. Cynthia never deletes it.
Don't.
But this would be a way to like kind of archive and document some of these silly pictures and stuff, and that we're exchanging.
Yeah. And honestly, when you look at the platform, the whole thing kind of bakes in this content discovery, right, aspect. So we have some products out there that exist today. One that I've looked into a little bit is called Storyworth, for instance, where it says, "Hey, send all of these prompts to your grandmother and have her fill in all these answers, and then we'll convert that into a book, a physical, tangible book, which is so cool to be able to hold and feel and look at and see, grandma's story." However, as time continues to go on, things start to get a little bit more complicated with grandma's story being able to be discoverable, right? So, suppose grandma had 5 children. Who gets to inherit that book? It's just one book. Who gets to get it? And then, suppose we're getting into dealing with the great grandchildren or great great grandchildren. At that point, are they still interested in the actual physical, tangible book? Is it still in good condition to where it can be read, or did it end up in an attic, in a box in the attic somewhere, or accidentally tossed out somehow? So one of the things that Kinnectd offers you is the ability to centralize the discovery of all those things, right? Your story is within a platform in which all the people are already connected. And so you can just traverse upwards of your family tree and find those relevant artifacts.
Yeah, that's so cool. So where are we in the launch of this? Like, what are the next steps? And then, of course, like any good platform, it'll continue to be tweaked and updated and it'll
Yes.
evolve. But where
Yeah.
are you from the point of launching this where people can actually start using it?
Yes. So I have a team that I work with that's helping out with the development of this because we needed a lot of hands on decks to build this thing out. And the latest information that I have is that we should be entering beta towards the end of next week. And from there, we're going to try to do something like a 4-week beta or so, and then go public.
Yeah.
Launch the thing, and then just get the feedback and iterate quickly based
Yeah.
on all the amazing responses that we hope to hear from you all.
Yeah. Well, we can't wait to be a part of that. Is there any element of the app now or as you envision going forward that you feel like you haven't gotten to really discuss?
There's one thing in my mind that I go ahead and throw it out there. We're so close to launch, and I think we're so close to making it happen. So you may have noticed that a lot of people are leveraging AI in everything today, right? Now, with all the things that we discussed here, right? Like you're posting onto this platform, you're creating snapshots, you're creating quests, you're creating legacy stories. We're starting to get a really strong sense of who you are. And one of the things that I just would love to be able to do with this platform is to leverage AI to create your biography, right? So this is, and it updates in near real time, right? So the moment that you change something on our platform, we regenerate your biography and it's there available for you and your descendants to read.
That's cool.
Wow.
Cool.
I actually was almost going to ask you about where, playing along, because we were talking about the book and then it's not digitized and this and that. I was going to ask you about AI, and then I didn't know how far we wanted to go with the idea of then, one day creating like versions of your ancestors
Yeah.
that you can like walk and tie. Then at some point it's just going to like be a hologram or something, right? That you can
Right.
have in your, you're like, I don't know. Anyway, but that's cool.
Yeah.
Like how you're describing it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
What I'm envisioning sounds a little Skynet, but we're not going to worry about that.
Yeah.
Well, so Byron, it wouldn't be our podcast. One of us knows what we're talking about. Another one is you, unless Sam and Sarah got to have a little bit of hijinks. And so they have, yes, I'm trying to find where, well, they're just going to have to hopefully behave somewhat, but they have some features. But see, I think this is good because it is actually relevant to to you, and you might actually take some of this to heart. So Sam and Sarah have a few features that they don't know if you've considered or that you may want to consider. So Sam and Sarah, please, I really want to have an ongoing relationship with Byron. Don't ruin this. All right. And go.
All right. So, number 1, have you considered a way to block family members?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yes.
You have a customer in Sarah as of now.
Yes.
Okay, number 2, an option to order food like Uber Eats, but specifically for family, but you do have to pay.
It's like, Lori, whenever you want your mom's tacos, you can just like put in an order.
Yes.
And then you're committing to dinner with her.
Yeah, you don't have to take any of these suggestions seriously, Byron, and comment on them. But if you wish to, you may.
But like, think about it. If you're like, about to go in for, I don't know, whatever holidays everybody celebrates, for like Easter or Thanksgiving or something, and grandma or somebody puts in, okay, we're putting a request in now, and we're going to narrow it down from here. That would be pretty cool.
I think so. I think there's something to that idea, right? And in our platform, we have an events organizer. So, if we say like, hey, Thanksgiving event on the app, put in, a special section for food.
I've got the best thing about how my mom would use that, because this is not a lie. Several years ago, first of all, I see my mom all the time, but I'm her baby and it'll never be enough. So she has said things to me like, oh, I'm so glad I have pictures of you up in my house so I remember what you look like. And, oh, if you invited me over to your house, I'm not sure I'd remember how to get there. Like, that's the kind of stuff she would say. But here is what's that expression? The coup d'etat of what she did. I get home one day from work. I go to my mailbox and there's a party invitation. And the party invitation is for a party at my house where my mom is the guest. Like, it's one of the things that we had a barbecue and a date and a time and everything. Basically inviting herself over to my house on this date at that time. So I think what my mom would do with your events tab is basically create an event where she is coming over.
Oh, that's amazing. That was so clever.
It was,
that's hilarious.
No, she is clever. That is a very good way to put it. But actually, I don't want to derail from Sam and Sarah's derailment. But I do think, if you haven't thought about this, it could be fun to have a section with like family sayings, like that whole "and we're off like a herd of turtles" sort of thing. Because if I want my parents to have any sort of legacy, it's like all the ridiculous things that they've said. My two biological parents, my mom and I'm only saying it that way because I was talking about my stepdad, who I was very close to. But if you met them, you would have no idea how I turned out so sane. And I'm not saying I'm that sane, but like, truly, you're like, wow. But they are characters and they are fun. And when I started having kids, and this may have been your experience too, all these things start coming out of your mouth that you're saying to them. And, I think what's my, biggest life lesson is a cool thing to share with them. But I also think some of these sayings are pretty fun as well. So anyway, if you haven't thought about that, I would say there's got to be something where you keep like a running tally. Yeah. But actually, to Sarah's question about blocking family members, can my sister and I set up something where we just like trauma share about our mom, but she can't see it?
Oh, that's
but we need it documented. Because we already do that.
I mean, same. Like, if you have our mom, or our mom is pretty similar, every now and then I just text my brother. I'm like, yo, you need to call your mom. And he'll call me and he's like, you really need to text your mother. We don't claim our parents unless it's like we have to.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
one thing that I thought of in that area, and this is just still so much of a concept, it needs a lot more thought to it, but is what if, let's say you're visualizing a family tree, and what if you could broadcast things across your tree, right? But you have control over the direction of the broadcast. So, you say like broadcast
Yes.
everywhere, broadcast up only, broadcast down only, right? This would give you that ability to be able to broadcast things that you and your sister would see, and then perhaps later on your descendants could come back and discover.
Yeah. I love it. All right. Sam and Sarah, what's the next one you've got?
Okay. We were thinking a range of emoticons that you can use so you can tell a family member when you are mad at them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Could you? I never had a MySpace, but I do understand that people could like rank their friends. Can you
Their
rank
top
your
5?
family members?
Oh my gosh. Rank your family members?
One of ours.
You stole one of ours.
I'm sorry. All right. Well, now you don't have to say it. It's a good idea. See, I told you I liked your list, but I don't remember seeing it. Oh no, we lost Sam. She'll be back.
I mean, you can still
Sarah, you're
hear
gonna have
her,
to-
so Sam can keep talking.
Yes, it is mostly a podcast.
It is a
That's
podcast, Sarah.
It's okay. What's the next one, you guys? We're gonna wrap up here.
All right. Number 4 is a notes app on your profile so family members can post apologies to you.
Oh.
Next one. Similarly, you already mentioned the family tree, but we were thinking of a family tree section so you can see, strained relationships and, know who you may or may not get a Christmas gift from or whatever.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't even see the MySpace thing. I totally stole that from you guys. I'm sorry.
It's okay. So, yeah, a top family members list so they can know where they stand. But also, we did include a bottom 5 family members so they know they're at risk of being cut out.
Or being disinherited. Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah.
See, I just like the emoticon one, so you can individually be like, hey, y'all are cool. But once we get to this point, it's like, hey, y'all are iffy. Like, it changes.
There's
After Thanksgiving, some may go up, some may go down. I'm just saying.
Oh my gosh. This is so great.
The
all right,
ranked
what's next?
system.
All right. So next is eBay, but with family. So when someone dies, the executor of their estate can list their personal items and people can bid on them, and whoever wins gets the asset.
Man.
Cynthia loves using that spinning wheel, like when we do drawings or like something like that. Like, who wants this strawberry teapot? And then I'll say Lori, and I'll be like, oh no.
And it's like a live stream or something. It's like, oh no, wait, hold on. Sam put me on to this auction website.
Yeah, that's live bidding essentially.
Yeah. And that's what we do, but like, with your mom's teapots.
Yeah. All right, you got one last one, and now that Sam's back, do you wanna bring it home or Sarah
take it away?
All right.
Thanks. Hold on, I have to go back to it. A Burch Law section, but it's only for people in Texas because we can only practice in Texas. For them to get their estate planning done, or it could be like estate planning resources. Maybe like they connect you with a attorney or law firm.
Yes.
Yeah. So I hope you appreciate this Burch Law Brain Trust that we've created for you. Just amazing. More ideas. I mean, feel free to discard some, but I think we've got some real.
I think the bottom 5 and top 5 has some real possibilities.
Yeah, I mean, I know that top 5 was a really big deal, big hit with MySpace folks. So you may be on to something there. Make people competitive a little bit, make the family get-togethers a little interesting.
Yeah.
On social media, there's this grandma who has who like by her fridge has a board, and there's like however many grandchildren slots, and there's a magnet with each grandchild. So depending on how she feels, she'll rearrange them so that whenever they go to grandma's house, they know what number they are.
That's wild.
Oh,
And if
wow.
like there's a video for them getting a tattoo, she took his picture off and put it on top of the last spot. They didn't move a sibling or a cousin up. They just, both of them are at the bottom now.
Oh,
Wow.
no.
I like that. I like that. Well, Byron, we really appreciate you sharing this, and we look forward to seeing how it develops. We look forward to participating and helping spread the word, and we really appreciate you spending this time, and hopefully you found it as valuable as we did.
Oh, for sure. Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun. I love the questions. So I was really honored to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening. And just to cover all our bases about what you just heard, I'm sorry and you're welcome. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. And tell your friends about us. We do webinars and live events. The best way to stay up to date is to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. Links are in the show notes. If there's a topic you'd like us to cover, maybe you have a question you'd like us to answer, or maybe you just want to say hi, hit the link in the show notes or go to burch-law.com/podcast and fill out the contact form.
Much better.
Yeah, I thought that had a lot of energy.